Oh, yeah. Good morning. Happy Monday, everybody. I just had a sneezing fit right before we went live. So if I'm sniffing a little bit, well, too bad. Let's see who we got hanging out with us this morning. Let's see. Darren Bird's in the house. Good morning. Leo Steger. Good morning, Dave and Jack. Thumbs up. I appreciate the thumbs up, Leo. Hope you're doing well. Larry Galt says, happy dreary Monday. I tell you, it is not dreary here. It's sunshiny. Looks like it's just an absolute beautiful day. But it is cold out there. Holy cow. I looked, well, when I woke up, first thing I did is I asked my Echo Dot, the A girl, ask her what temperature was outside. She said it was 32. And of course, there's a little breeze, so the wind chills running about 6 to 8 degrees lower than that. So I was a little concerned about the garage because, I've got that laser set up out there with that chiller and just straight distilled water, no antifreeze or anything. And so I was worried about the temperature dropping out there. But I'll tell you about that in a little bit. I've run some tests kind of this weekend, and I think I'm going to be okay on that. So Clyde's here. Good morning, Clyde. Monroe's here. Good morning on this cold morning. Yes, indeed. It is cold. I'm kidding you. Way colder than I like it. Thomas Graham's in the house. Solar Man says, morning, lights, lights, lights all day long. And that also means cha-ching, right? It should be. Let's see, Gary Hammett says, good frosty Monday. Yeah. Sean says, good morning, 28 this morning. Yeah, that's about what we were getting with the wind chill thing. It was down in the high 20s. It might still be. I don't know. Before I went on, I looked and it was like the current temperature was 38, feels like 30. So still pretty cold. Colder than usual, according to what Joanne said this morning. Jesse's in the house. Good morning, Jesse. Sean's asking Ryan if he's getting lit again. Kevin's in the house this morning. Good afternoon, Kevin. Good afternoon to South Africa. Let's see, George Rumpus. Good morning, Jack, Dave, and the gang. My neck of the woods currently 31 degrees Fahrenheit with an expected high of 38, low 29, scattered snow showers. You can keep that snow stuff. Don't want any of that. There's our lucky winner that won the, let's see, he won the 1/8 inch downtown Genie bit Saturday night. Congratulations again, Al. Troy Pritchard's here. Good morning, Troy. Clyde says we had snow on Saturday. All right. Ryan says he's always getting lit. So 32 where Clyde's at. Yeah, it's I expect most of you guys that are, Texas and Michigan and Ohio and places like that to talk about how cold it is. But I'm in Georgia for crying out loud. It's it's not supposed to get that cold here. But anyhow, let me tell you, if you are if you have a garage door that you have not yet insulated in some way, it's the stuff, I'm telling you. That little old cheap stuff I put on there and doubled up. It was of course I had a heater running out there. Uh well, I'd had it running all day Saturday, but when I got ready to do the live stream out there, old Dave don't like cold. So I keep the heater cranked up. I'd rather have it a little on the toasty side than I would cold side. I just don't like cold, especially that concrete floor. That thing gets cold and oh man, it just comes all the way up. But anyway, when I shut everything off out there Saturday night, I knew that we were going to get down close to freezing. I think they were saying 33 or 34, something like that for Saturday night. And when I got ready to shut everything off, I have a big temperature thermometer thing on the wall. And it was maybe not quite 70. It was a kind of almost touching 70, about 69 or so. And when I turned everything, I was trying to decide, okay, now what should I do? Because I don't want this water to freeze and mess up the laser tube or mess up the chiller or any of that stuff. You know, I got to figure out how I'm going to get through these next 3 months because that's going to be the coldest 3 months we have here. So anyway, I thought, well, it's supposed to get down not quite to freezing, which means it probably will get to freezing because I'm out. It's usually colder out in the suburbs than right in Atlanta. So I thought I'm just going to take a chance, and I'm not going to leave the heater on. I'm not going to turn the chiller on and let it recycle. I'm just going to see how it goes because I really don't think it's going to get down that cold because I have really insulated that garage door good. It's way better than it used to be. So I didn't do anything. I got up yesterday morning and walked out there, and it was 59 degrees. It was cold outside, but that's all the colder it got. And I thought, well, that's pretty good, but it's supposed to get even colder last night. So yesterday, I had my little heater running. And of course, it was, like I said, it was a lot colder. And when I got ready to go to bed, I walked out there and looked, and it was 61. And that heater, was putting out. And I'm always nervous about little heaters. I don't like running them at night because you always see these stories of, people that are trying to, got their electricity cut off or maybe not cut off, but they're trying to save on their bill or something, or, got old drafty house and they're using these space heaters and they always catch their house on fire and stuff. So I really had trouble going to sleep last night because I thought, well, I'm going to try to leave that thing on because I'd had it on all day long, kept going over there. The thing, I mean, it's putting out heat, but when you feel that back part of the heater, it's not hot or anything. The cord wasn't even warm. So I'm thinking, I'm going to this thing, it's been running all day long. So I'm going to take a chance and leave it on. And I left it on. And when I went to bed last night, it was 61 degrees out there. And I got up this morning. First thing I did was ask Echo Dot what's temperature out. And she said it was 32. And of course, the wind chill was, I don't know, 20 something. And I walked out there. It was 60 degrees. It had dropped 1 degree. And I thought, holy cow, that thing's working good. So I think I'm going to be all right. I'm not, I really contribute that being to that insulation that I put on that door. So I'm thinking that, that wind's really whipping out there. Now I see my flag straight out sideways. But I'm thinking that me putting that insulation on that door is going to save me from having to do any extra precaution stuff for the thing. In fact, I bet you, since it only dropped that 1 degree and I had that heater running all night, I bet you I could have turned that heater off and it still wouldn't have got down that cold. Maybe 50, 55 or something. I don't know. It just really seems to hold the heat a lot better than it used to. So I'm certainly happy about that, because although some of them say, uh, people that run these lasers say you can put RV antifreeze and some windshield wiper stuff in it or whatever. And I just not really wanting to do that, because I'm in Georgia. If I was in Michigan or something like that, yeah, I'd probably plan on doing that. But Gary makes a good point here. He says most of the time space heaters cause fires due to being put too close to something combustible. Yeah, this is one of those. It's a ceramic heater. It's actually probably the best $5 I've ever spent, because I spent $5 buying a heater like this at the Goodwill store. I was over there looking around and I saw that and I'm like, $5? What the heck? I got it, brought it home, and it worked. But then I don't know what made me get online, but I got online and looked at something and found out there was a recall for some reason or another. I don't really remember what the recall was about, but there was a recall on there. And so I got the serial number and stuff off of the one that I'd bought for $5 at the Goodwill store, put it in there, and they sent me a brand new one, which is, it's not new now. I've had it a few years. And then even sent me a box to send back the old one. So for $5 at the Goodwill store, I got a brand new. I think the brand is Lasco or something like that. Lasko, I think. But it's a ceramic heater, and it's one of those tall, skinny ones, and it's got a thing where you can set, like 70 degrees or 75 or whatever, or you can just have it on max, whatever. I usually have this one set at, I think I had it set at 70 degrees or 75, I think. So if it ever does get that toasty in there, it'll cut off. And it also has a little button where you can press and it'll oscillate and stuff. Although I usually don't do the oscillating stuff, just because it gets a little, being out in the shop where it gets dirty, it gets a little stuff, and I don't want it to get hung up. So I just leave it stuck where it's not oscillating. And of course, I have it sitting in the floor in the garage, not nowhere close to anything. So, but it should do pretty good, and it's been a workhorse, because I had it on all. It's been on 24 hours right now, because I turned it on about this time yesterday morning. Clyde says, is there insulation in the ceiling? There is a little bit. There's insulation in the ceiling here, but they didn't put much over the garage, because there's one of those pull down steps that you can go up. I have two things. I have a hole here in my hallway where you can go up that way to check the furnace. But then if you just want to store stuff above the garage, you can pull down steps and go up there. And it's like when they were doing the house, they started on this end and did it. And then like whatever they had left, they just kind of shot a little over there, but there's not that much over the garage. Now there's some more stuff that I've put up there, but I still haven't done it all. But yeah, I think I'm gonna be okay with the frozen thing because unless some of that weird climate change stuff happens, I should be good. Because usually when it gets cold like this, it just don't stay cold. It'll get cold overnight, and then once the sun comes up, it usually warms up above freezing. So, all right. Good morning, Kenneth. Kenneth's here. Hi, Robin. Welcome to the coffee session. This is probably your first time here, I bet you. But welcome, welcome, welcome. We don't do much here, just talk about the weather and whatever, drink coffee. That's the main requirement, drinking coffee. So let's see. Yeah. Ryan says he can't insulate his doors yet. Well, maybe if you'd get them hung up and get them off that pallet, just saying. Rob Schuster's in the house. Good morning, Rob. Clyde says, put a bowl of water on the floor when it's cold out. As long as no ice, you're fine. That's a good idea. Yeah, that's a pretty good idea. Of course, you know what happened. I put a bowl of water on the floor. Big jacket hit it every time you walked past it, and it wouldn't. I'd have to keep filling the thing back up. He's a big water drinker. Big water drinker. Let's see. Larry says, I bought a temp monitor that has 3 sensors. In the winter, I have one in the well house, one in the greenhouse, and one outside. Okay. Well, my monitor is just simply a cheap $2 thermometer that's on the wall, but it's one of the big ones where I can read it at a glance. But it seems to be doing pretty good so far. I'm pretty happy. Yeah, most of the heat goes out the roof too. And there's also one spot on my door I've noticed when at night when I have the motion sensor lights in front of the garage and they happen to be on. When I look at my security camera, I can see a little crack of light. So I think there's one spot where the door doesn't, when the door comes down, it doesn't push up against the thing really good. So I know it's not 100%, but just having that insulation in that, cause that's a thin aluminum door I have now, works great. Let's see what Sean's talking about. He says, I added a blast gate to the exhaust vent that I close at night to prevent cold air from coming back in through the tube. That's probably a good idea. I have, of course, I have a 6-inch thing going out my window, but I have basically a dryer vent. So it's got those little flaps. So when there's nothing blowing out, they're closed. And, they don't seal real great or anything. The only thing I wouldn't want to put a blast gate on mine is because I know what will happen. I would forget to open it, when I start running and then smoke, everything get backed up. And then I know, oh, yeah, that's why. That'd be just one more thing for me to forget to have to do before turning stuff on. Robin wants to know, what kind of coffee are you drinking and what's in it? Well, I hope you're sitting down. No, I'm pretty boring when it comes to coffee. I shop at Publix, so I use the Publix brand instant coffee, and it is black with just a couple of artificial sweeteners in it. Not the Sweet and Low, but the Publix brand of Sweet and Low. That stuff that causes cancer in laboratory animals. Been drinking it for years. So nothing fancy there. I don't go in for the although I like the taste of some of those uh, those other kind of coffees like the pumpkin spice and the what's those other ones they have, French vanilla and all that stuff. I like those, but I just keep it simple when it's just me. If anybody else here that drank coffee and wanted that, I would do it. But since it's just me, I go with the cheap and easy. Kenneth says, let's see what this is. Rob, I heard you got a shout out on making it. Let's watch the subs climb. Okay, what is making it? Is that a podcast or is that is that somebody's YouTube channel? I don't ever remember. I can't associate names with their YouTube channel. So, okay. Rob says both he and his wife are drummers. Okay, so that must be somebody's YouTube channel. I'm guessing. I'll have to go check that out. I'll leave a comment and say, yeah, Rob is like super awesome. Need to have him. Let's see. Rob says, my snakeskin drum is going to be used at a concert next month and then auctioned off at the end. I hope to make a video of the event. Awesome. Not only will that make a great video, but it gets you out there, get you out there to see. Well, I had some pictures I was going to show, and I'm not going to show them because I was talking with Paul Corliss, and I don't see him out there. So, Paul, if you are out there listening and not commenting, let me know you're out there, and I'll show the pictures. But before I think it was a couple of weeks ago, before we went live on the Saturday show, Paul and I didn't even know how we got started talking about it. But anyway, I think I mentioned that years ago, my son and I, got into quarter midget racing. And what was interesting is Paul had done that too. So he had a similar story and stuff. So I told him, I says, well, I'll have to round up some pictures because I got a whole bunch of pictures of Clint and his car and stuff. And okay. Ryan says it's a podcast. Dave Picciuto, DeResta, and I Like to Make Stuff Bob. Okay. I didn't realize those three did a podcast. Interesting how the time changes too, because Dave Picciuto, he's the one years ago was like the drunken woodworker, and then he realized that's probably not a good name for a thing. he's changed it, and I don't know what he goes by now. I think he's got some kind of channel name, but it's not got anything to do with drinking. I don't think now. But yeah. Yeah, Rob says he's got about 50 hours. Did everything from shell to rims, brass tubes. Yep, did it all on that one, didn't he? Did it all. Anyway, I don't see Paul Corliss in the chat, so there's no sense in me showing these pictures because he was the main one I was going to show. But maybe I'll just keep them handy. I didn't really find all the ones I was looking for. Like I said, I have a whole bunch of pictures because we race for a couple of years, and I couldn't. I know I've got them somewhere all together, a big collection of the pictures. And I think back in the day, I think I burned them, burned them to a CD or DVD or whatever it is we did back then. So I've been scrounging around, and of course, me being the idiot that I am, I've got all kinds of CDs and DVDs and stuff that are still in the case, but nothing's wrote on them. So I have to stick them in and figure out what it is. And I just didn't find, out of all the searching, I found one that had two pictures. So I've got them now saved on the computer. And then I also have a big picture that I used to have hanging up in my office years ago. But since Paul was the one that was interested in that, I'll wait till he's hanging out with us before I show this. But this is back in, this would have been the year 2000. So, 22 years ago. A lot of fun, money pit, like most racing. All of it's a money pit. But, and that's why we only did it a couple of years. We're like, this is fun, but we're going broke here trying to keep up with the Joneses on this stuff. So just can't do it. Okay, let's see. Making It podcast has been going for 8 years, I think. I probably shouldn't say this because I guess, you folks come here and watch me hang out and drink coffee, pretty much every morning. But I don't really listen to podcasts. I just never have. It has to be something, something kind of special for me to want to listen to it. Now, I like watching live streams, which is kind of like a podcast, but I don't really like watching those unless I can watch them live and interact with the folks. And if I'm watching a podcast, and there's some out there that do this, if I'm watching a podcast and it's like there's a whole bunch of people in the chat and they're commenting and stuff, talking amongst themselves or whatever, but the people that are doing the podcast or live stream don't even acknowledge those people, I'm like, well, I'm out, because that's the whole point of watching you live. You want me to watch you live, but you don't answer any questions or anything. So I don't like to watch those kinds, but never been a fan of just listening to, a lot of people do that. They listen to stuff while they work in their shop and stuff. Usually I have silence or I'll have music. So, okay. Yeah. David Pachito's channel is called Make Something. Yeah. 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 He abandoned the drunken woodworker quite a while ago. Okay. So David is our drummer. So I learned something new this morning. I did not know that. Of course, maybe I would if I watched him more, but I just don't watch those guys. And I guess we're even, because I'm sure they don't watch me either. So I'm cool with that. So anyway, that was my little timer. I will save these pictures for Paul if he pops in another day during the week. And we'll show them then. Anyway, y'all have a great Monday. I'm going to get out there and piddle around some more. Got to get something lined up for the Wednesday stream. I already kind of know what I'm going to do. I just don't know exactly which little project. Maybe just a bunch of stuff. I don't know. Because a lot of that stuff, that's one thing about the laser stuff you get out there, and it's not like a CNC where you got to try to make sure you got enough time to run everything during a certain amount of time for the show. But out there on laser, everything goes pretty quick. It doesn't take long to cut stuff. So probably have time to do several little projects. So anyway, we will. Okay, Leo says I've been using one of those heaters for 5-6 years now in my shop. Yeah. I'm super happy with that one I got, especially when I got up this morning and opened up the door and looked out there and saw that the temperature had dropped a whole 1 degree, and I know it's below freezing outside. I was super happy about that. Anyway, let me get out of here. Y'all have a great Monday, and we will, I guess, see y'all tomorrow. Man, we're almost halfway through November already. But anyway, see y'all tomorrow. Everybody take care.